What's up guys, it's Tom here for Tomatomm Poker. How are we all doing? I know it's been a while, but I've not been playing too much poker in the last sort of year, to be fair. Saving up for adult things like a house, so now all that crap's out of the way, we can crack on. Basically I'm going to start reviewing one hand, or more than one hand a week, but a separate little playlist thing called Hand of the Week, where notable hands, either if I lose them or win them, but ones that are significant in that I've either played them quite well or played them poorly, or ones that are just generally up for discussion and there can be room for improvement, or ideas from you guys be very much appreciated. So the hand I'm actually going to show first isn't the hand of the week, but it is this one that's just before. So you get the idea. So basically, yeah, this was from a bounty builder tournament a couple of weeks ago. At this point in the tournament, I hadn't got any bounties, so I was not really playing that well, to be fair, because I've not played for a while. But at this stage in the tournament, I've got no bounties, and this Jazz Aratane been kind of my nemesis. He'd been taking my chips, and he'd been pretty much outplaying me. So I wanted to try and I'd kind of irrationally gone, I'm going to get this guy's bounty, which you're not supposed to really do, I don't think, because it's going to cloud my judgment in certain decisions, and you need to focus more on the hands over the actual, I'm going to beat this singular person. But anyway, so this was the hand that's not the hand of the week. It's a couple of hands before the hand of the week. But just so you can get in the mindset of it. So in my mindset at the time, I've been obviously quite, like I said, I got a highish VPIP for the session, 34.48, because I usually play quite wide in these sort of bounty tournaments and to try and get chips, and get the knockout spot. In this case, it wasn't working. So I'll just play this hand through, not going to look into it that much because it kind of plays itself. But so I got sevens with 20 bigs, so I'm obviously looking to try and get it in at this point. Min raise plus a bit and get a call. Hopefully getting a decent flop, because I've got like pot and a half behind at this point, so I was hoping for a decent flop, which I managed to get. So you overpair to the board, so I was looking for any sort of action to try and induce something here. So this guy had a higher VPIP than probably only everyone but this dude here. I know, this guy's yeah, quite high VPIP, so I thought if he had anything he'd put me in on the flop, so that went well. So gets fold, I call, and obviously a couple of sky cards on the turn and river, but a bit of a cooler, but yeah. So we're thinking now, happy days, we've just doubled up. Hands are going the wrong way. Happy days, we've just doubled up. Let's get this guy's bounty. Well, let's get a bounty and get way back in the tournament. So this is the hand of the week. This is hand of the week number 1 that we're going to do. So I've got Ace4 of hearts with 42 big blinds. So doing alright. I can't obviously get his bounty now because he's got me covered, but at this point I was sort of rapidly trying to accumulate chips, and I think, well, you guys can be the judge. I think the fact that I just doubled up 2 hands before, I was sort of still going, yeah, and like not fully concentrating on the hand, because I think, obviously you can always say in hindsight, but I think in hindsight I may have done this differently. So obviously, as you've seen from the start, where we have the Ace4 and we raise it up, not looking to obviously any of this guy would probably shove, but at this point we, oh, let me try and bring that back a little bit. Right, so getting 7.8 to 1 on a call, 11%, happy to do that. Like I said, I'm playing loose anyway, but happy just to see a flop. And we see a flop of 4 ace 10 with 2 clubs, so we're thinking happy days at this point. We've got him. So I could have played this in a number of ways. There's arguments for betting. I think in hindsight I would have rather have check raised to keep the bluffs in. So if the obviously there's a chance they have me beat, but if I check and then raise, they're going to be committed with some draws, because it's quite a draw heavy board, so I want to try and do that, but it's not how I played it at the time. So I bet quite big and get literally, this doesn't take into account the real-time aspect of it, but it was like an insta min-click, min-raise. So, this dude folds. Right, so we're looking at it now where we're getting almost 6 to 1 on a call, need 50% equity. That's saying 80%, but I'm not 100% sure that's right, so what I've done is, on Poker Tracker, a little calculation. Let's see if I can bring it up now. Yeah, there we go. So, that's the board. We've got Ace of Hearts, 4 of Hearts. Now that the two randoms are for the dude that flatted that Robert and then folded, the guy who's all in, and then this range here for the villain. I've put as all pairs, suited aces, things that I thought he would call with pre-flop. So I might have been a bit too, what's the word? Not lenient. His range is possibly narrower than that, but I hadn't played with him that much, so in hindsight I'm just going to assign him this arbitrary range just for the purposes of this hand. So on that flop, we're getting 63% equity, right? And given that we only need 15% to make this call, obviously I'm going to call, but then you've got to work out, it's not just a call, is it? Because if I call now, I'm leaving myself with 2,500 behind, so I'm going to have like a third of the pot or whatever behind. So if I call, check it to him, he's obviously going to bet, and if I do that route, that avenue, he could be bluffing, and I'd be putting myself in a weird spot. He might not have a hand, he might have a sick draw that's not there yet. But I think how I played this hand up until this point, I would have rather have shoved here. It's more of a trap. I'd get calls from like ace king, ace queen, suited straight and flush draws or whatever. Because I think that's obviously, given the previous maths, that's probably ahead of his range. So I would have rather have shoved there. But for whatever reason, we call. Right, so turn 9 of spades. So he's got more than me again in this hand. So at this point, yeah, obviously there's a two-way flush draw as well now. So much action on this board. But again, we're ahead of pretty much obviously all draws. Ace king, ace queen, ace jack, all them ones that he'd be playing. So yeah, how we check. So now obviously I'm expecting a bet, which comes 1200. So, and then I snap ship. Again, doesn't account for the real time in this, but I did like instantly snap ship and didn't think about what the possibilities could have been that I'm up against here. That it would min click, re-raise the flop, and then bet such as like a strange amount. To me, it's like almost like sniping for value. When if he was bluffing here, he'd gone all in. But it's just he doesn't want to lose me at this point. Looking back at it in hindsight, he doesn't want to lose me. He wants to keep his customer. He wants me to rip it in, but at this point I was blind, going, I'm going to get your chips, and go all in. So again, just to be sure, let me just run it back a second. At this point we need 14% to make a call. That reckons 84. But if I do this little doodah again, this is for the turn. So that other guy's folded, so I'm taking him out. The other guy, the random's all in, so we can not really discount him to like 3 big blinds. So yeah, same hand, I'm getting 70%. I've got 70% equity in the hand, given that if that's his range, I've got 70% equity. But obviously, his range is not that wide, given how he's played the hand. At this point now, it's I could safely say I could take bluffs out of the equation, I think. Because I think he would have bluff shoved the turn. But again, at the time, I didn't put that much thought into the decision. And we shove, get snapped. River's a brick. Well, not brick, it's brings in some draws, but misses all the flush draws. And the villain turns over ace ten of spades. So I was like super dead on the turn. So he's got top two in the nut flush draw. It's quite sick. But he's pretty much got top of his range for that flop, given how he'd been playing previously. And yeah, the guy that was all in actually had me beat as well. He had a set of nines, so came third in that hand. But yeah, I didn't have to play it like that in hindsight. With 42 big blinds, it's quite a malleable stack for one of these knockout ones, and you can get quite a good. How wide some of these people are playing this, you can get quite a stack going quite easily. But there it was, I think, a combination of missing out on the signs of, okay, he's playing this like an absolute monster, like he's got a big hand here, discounting that and just having tunnel vision of trying to focus on taking his chips and stacking him in the next hand, because obviously the previous history on this tournament. So yeah, I could have played that one a lot better. But yeah, that's just a little intro one. I'm going to be playing a lot more now. I've got a lot more videos coming up, a lot more content. I've got reviews. I've got playing a lot more tournaments I'm going to be playing. I'm going to do quite a few more higher stake ones as well, so we can get a bit of different variety and some more content. And I'm going to try and keep up these hands of the week as well, so we can get a bit of a discussion going and see what lines you'd have taken in this hand, for example, or if I'm a nit, or how you would have played it, etc. And should be quite fun. So yeah, that's it for this hand and this edition of Hand of the Week. But yeah, more content coming very soon, so make sure you're subscribed and stick around. Thanks for watching.